Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining with us today on Breaking Open God's Word. The word I want you to keep in front of you is self-sufficient, one of the great American values that we expect everyone to be self-sufficient. So just as you listen to the gospel today, think about that word.
And this is the gospel according to Luke. Jesus then addressed this parable to those who were convinced of their own righteousness and despised everyone else. Two people went up to the temple area to pray. One was a Pharisee and the other was a tax collector. The Pharisee took up his position and spoke this prayer to himself. "O God, I thank you that I am not like the rest of humanity, greedy, dishonest, adulterous, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week, and I pay tithes on my whole income." But the tax collector stood off at a distance and would not even raise his eyes to heaven, but beat his breast and prayed, "O God, be merciful to me, a sinner." I tell you, the latter went home justified, not the former. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and the one who humbles himself will be exalted.
Today's gospel, we have to look at in a little deeper way. What the man who had resources, the man who basically said, "I am a good person before God," trying to show God, "Look at what I'm doing." And therefore, in the Jewish tradition, when you do good, you're supposed to get the good rewards of life. So he's basically saying, "Lord, continue to pour out the good gifts of life to me, because look what I'm doing, look what I'm saying. How am I beginning to really live what you call, what the Torah or what the law calls for?" So he's done it well, But the only problem is he was not asking God except to continue to give him the good stuff. I don't want any problems or difficulties. But he was also saying to God, "I am self-sufficient. I don't need to lean on you for anything except that you continue to give me the things that you said and promised in the covenant, that if I'm good, I'm going to get the rewards, And it's going to be multiplied, multiplied, and multiplied. And so that's what he was really looking at seeing. So he gave a list of what he does, In many ways, we could take that right front and center in today's faith and church and various churches. And a man steps up and says, "Listen, I'm not like the rest of these other people, I'm not. Look, I am going to Eucharist every day, or I'm going to service every week." He could be saying, "And I give generously to the church. I tithe to the church or to the synagogue or whatever. And I don't do those bad things those other people do. And so, therefore, Lord, I do expect that you're going to continue to give me gifts of health, to give me gifts of wealth, and just continue to pour into my pocket many wonderful gifts of what it means to be human." And so he's self-reliant. And my dear brothers and sisters, that is an American value, that you got to be self-reliant. I remember when sometimes, back in one time when someone was talking about welfare, Ronald Reagan said that person is a welfare queen, I remember when someone said it takes a village to raise somebody, they got all upset. They said, "No, it's our ingenuity, our talent, our gifts. It's what we have. Because you have to be able to pull yourself by your bootstraps, no matter where you start. You have to become self-sufficient." It's a value. It's one of the values that we have in our culture, and we hold those up and we praise them and we recognize them and we honor them, and even in our churches, and say, "Wow, look at how good these people are." But there's one thing that we forget, that we need to depend on God. We always have that need because we're broken. Even though you might dress yourself up, inside you're broken. You need something greater than yourself to be able to stand in life and to what? To love out of your suffering, to deal with life in a way that you don't fight it or run from it, but stand in it and be embraced by it and then be transformed by it. And so we can't get away from the fact that life at times plays hardball. It doesn't give us what we want or we think we need. It doesn't do that. What it does is say, okay, it's life, it's your turn now. You have to deal with some of the underbelly of life, So we need a community. We need people in our life that help us and support us and bring us to a greater sense of ourselves and a greater sense of life. But we also intrinsically need our God because life plays hardball. It really does. And so we see the tax collector. A tax collector could have been a toll collector on the roads. It could have been the head of all the tax collectors, like Zacchaeus was. Or it could be one who's getting the piece of the action off the crops and the things that the people sell. So he was a tax collector, and he was despised oftentimes by the Pharisees and other people in his community. And what he was saying to God is, have mercy on me. Show empathy for me when I talk to you. Listen to my voice. And as you hear my cry, show compassion for me. Touch deeply into who I am and what I am dealing with and what I am suffering with. And walk me with it. And send others to me to help me in life when it gets hard and difficult. Lord, I need you. I need to know your love. I need to know your forgiveness. I need to know your strength. I need to know your forgiveness. And I just need to know you, that you love me as I am and where I am. That's what when you say, have mercy on me. So I want you to keep that in mind, that he didn't talk about being self-reliant. He's basically saying, I am human, Lord. I am broken. But with your help and the help of others around me, I can embrace life in a freer way, in a deeper way. I could love out of my difficulties. I could love out of my suffering. I could love when I'm being pushed down by life. And so, yes, the other was self-reliant, but he did not need others, just himself. He used others to get ahead, but he didn't need others as companions on the journey. And so what we need to look at very simply is what? That at the end of the day, that man, yes, wasn't a bad person, but he judged everybody else. I'm not like these other people. I'm not like these people who are coming in our borders. I'm not like these people who are not really living up to my expectations. We're not like those. And so that means the man judged, and he lived out of his head, his control center. So he had an obsessive need to control all that was. You know that by just that wonderful little word he looked down upon. I'm not like these others. And so therefore, his ability to freely love, to be open to God's love so it could spill over to others, was very minimal. He was successful. We hold those people up as successful, but when you look closer at them, they loved, but the love was full of expectations, and that they gave in order to own, to control. So that's the tension that we all got to play with, especially we in America who has resources. Thank you.